Hello YouTube, Damer_23 here, and welcome back to the Youth Only Challenge here with 1860 Munich. Today is, of course, Season 8 Youth Intake, episode, but we've also got other news and something that's actually happened last season as well. We started with a semi-final draw here in the DFB Pokal. If we go through our DFB Pokal run like we did last season here, we had a pretty easy run this time around. Reddit and AUE, St. Pauli, we won 2-1 in a game we fully rotated, and fully rotated again against Union Berlin, and we won that one too. So, at the minute, it's been very, very, very good. In terms of the other results here, if we look at all results, since we last met, beat Gladbach 4-0, Dresden 4-1, Bochum 5-1, so scoring plenty of goals, and then we conceded 94th minute to lose to Bayern in a game that they definitely deserved to win. It was a penalty in the 94th minute. Sometimes you're just not meant to do what you're meant to do. Important to know, though, Jeppe Hansen has started to become a nailed-on player for them and averaging over a 7, so important to see that. Unfortunately, this season, unlike last year, Bayern and Dortmund have found their way into the semi-final. That's why I definitely thought last year was the year that we should have went on and won it, because they both didn't make it this far. We really want Wolfsburg, but I don't think that's going to happen. Bayern get Wolfsburg, we get Dortmund. It's a Dortmund again. We always get them too. I don't think we've played Bayern in the Cup, but we've played Dortmund 3 or 4 times already. But there we are. It's Dortmund. That will obviously be, yet again, episode 40 will be the live com semi-final. It's going to be a day. Is that the third time the charm? Is it going to be lucky for us finally? Third time lucky, as the saying is, not third time's the charm. That's 5th time's the charm, third time lucky. Are we finally going to win a semi-final in the Cup? We have FM'd this season in January, and you just never know. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can make our first final, but obviously we do have youth intake to get into, and it's not there yet. But for those that didn't see what our preview is, I hate that on this screen it now does it like this. Goalkeeper, defensive mid, central mid, and wingers all as A's, a wide midfielder and striker as B's, and important to note that Manfred Hansen came through a B a couple years ago and has a 5-star potential, so I'm happy with that, of course, as well. It's meant to be a terrific group and a golden generation. So this page usually lies, but if we get something remotely close to that, we're going to have a very good intake. For me specifically, I think we need a defensive midfielder to come through and be really good. Please, for the love of God, if there's only going to be one guy that comes out that has potential to be a wonder kid, just let it be a DM, and so would be it everywhere else. Anyway, though, next screen you'll see, boys, is Youth Intake Day, and then, of course, we'll end off this episode with the Next Gen list on the 31st of March. Welcome back, YouTube. That's your golden generation. That is apparently your wingbacks and etceteras. I don't really see a guy that's like any fantastically good there. That's your golden generation. If that's the golden generation, then you're never going to get a good intake. The fact that Manfred's calling it a golden generation, I'm tempted to sack him and not get a better youth intake in, because that is not golden generation. At best, right? Hoover. He's actually not bad, actually. I'll give him that. He's not as bad as I thought he was going to be. Free vision, though. Free vision, you can't pass a ball. If you can't pass a ball, you cannot play football. There you go. He actually looked good until I saw the free vision. Next. Free fucking vision. Horrible. Right. This guy here. No mentals. No good. Paul Bosch. Well-rounded, but does he scream out to you like, here we go? No. Valentine. No technicals on the lad for a fullback. Unambitious, even though he's got 14 determination. Think Hovert. The boy's saying Hovert's not as bad. Think of Hovert, what you do is you work him on passing for 10 years and hope that he grew. And then you got Seton. Well-rounded mentals, decent physicals. He might be the best one because at least it's not like bad anywhere. They're all just like well-roundedly air. If that's the golden generation, then like come off it, man. That is nowhere near being good enough for us. Probably Horvat is the best one there, but I don't see him being any good. I see him being decent, but I don't see him being any good. Maybe he would be a good backup player for us in the future. Work rate and teamwork is the only things I'll give him, but the fact is free vision. If you can't pass a ball, then don't bother playing football. Move on to another game. Get a racket or a bat in your hands and play tennis or cricket, mate. Take up another sport. That is one of the worst intakes we've got so far. That is meant to be one of our best intakes. That is a golden generation that is absolutely poor as anything. If that's a golden generation, then, well, what are we doing here, really, honestly? That's what we're accepting as golden generations in air. When it comes to maybe sucking Manfred, it may be the time. You know, something we haven't really talked about as our staff. We've improved it a lot. But Manfred actually starts at the club. And he's very good. But if he thinks that's the golden generation, then I think your time's come to be moved on, personally. Maybe we look for a better head of youth after something like that. Maybe that's what we do here very quickly. Ridiculous. Don't understand that at all. Working with youngsters, judging ability and potential. And see, anyone gets 18. 3 people do. This guy, head of youth, 20, 19, 18. Yep, there you go. And Alejandro Sanders, 18. And this guy is a general manager. Well, I'll tell you what right now. Not good enough, mate. Not good enough. Your last few intakes not good enough. This guy's coming in as a coach. No, as the head of youth, buddy. As the head of youth. Sure. You want 18k a week as head of youth? Done. That is not a golden generation. The fact he tells me, oh, it's a golden generation. I don't see one of those players even playing here after under-19s football. I see all of them being released. I'm going to sign them all. I don't get me wrong. I always do because it helps top up the 19s and makes them better. And yeah, that, you know. But that is definitely not good enough for a golden generation. We'll be back with the next gen as well, as long as the semi-final isn't before next gen. It's not. Okay. We'll be back with next gen, see who wins next gen. Apparently James Margetts has been tutored to win it. I'm just going to put it out there right now. James Margetts is one of the most annoying players in Football Manager history. He is as good as Adrian at that age and is just slightly behind Fabio Silva when we have a screenshot of Fabio Silva at a year older than him. And Fabio Silva scored 53 goals in 53 games in France. Adrian scored 29 goals in 33 games in a Premier League season for us. And James Margetts is missing one-on-ones for fun, and EH is scoring chances, and EH is one of those guys that is like, you know, I don't know what it is with EH, but every time he plays up front for me, he just bangs in goals. So, yeah, I don't know what we do with James. But apparently he's meant to win next gen, and he's finished second the last 2 years. So it'll be interesting to see if he finally wins one. We'll be back with the next gen, see who's in there from us, and we'll be back to recap the end of this episode. No golden generation, no good prospect, a bunch of all-round menace. And if our youth of development thinks that's a golden generation, then he can jump ship and he can move on. Because that is not good enough in a youth challenge. Welcome back, YouTube. It's Next Gen 2029 Awards, and we have another Next Gen winner amongst our midst in 2028 and 2027. James Margetts finished runner-up this season. With Raphael Each getting that little bit older, he has decided to step up once more and become a next-gen winner. Big shout-out to Carlos Fernandez, who came second. Alcides came third. Rosario 7th. And Admir kept his 9th spot as well. As you can see, there's a 16-year-old from Brazil we're going to check out in a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that I thought were fantastic. Fulcher's still at FLU, but he just went up. I was thinking about getting this kid, decided against it, really should have. Solaris is a 16-year-old, and he's coming in. Yeah, hello. You're very, very, very good. This guy's coming in. I don't know what role you'll play, but sure. What's your release fee here? 2.4 mil? Like, what do you want? Like, a mil here? I'm just going to do this right now, like. They want 12 mil. Right, we'll negotiate with you afterwards. But there we are. In terms of players in there, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys get in it. Sneaking in top 50. There you go. But yeah, Margetts won it. Hernandez second. Alcides 4th. Rosario 7th, 9th. Danny Lovett, who arguably is one of the best right backs in world football at the minute and is having the most unreal year, has just gone from 9th to like 14th. He would have been my guess to win next gen, by the way. Not anyone else here. Danny Lovett would have been my next gen winner. Villanueva comes 24th. Sully's come in after we picked him up for a mil in 31st. Coffee, who we just picked up this season, for 250k, by the way, is coming at 34. Kismer at 37. And Amity Sis, who I said to the game, they're dreaming that he's a 2-star player with only 2-star potential. Like, he hit his thing, hit his ability. Amity Sis is like, yeah, here we go. You know, I'm the 50th best wonder kid in world football. I think that's not a bad little go there from the next gen list. Anyway, there he is, James Margets. I don't even know, Margets. James Margets. Hasn't had the best of year. Hasn't had a great outpouring of goals. And I get angry at him because you look at him on paper, he could go down as the best striker I've ever used. But, he's a next-gen winner because he's just the longevity of getting in the top 3 for the last few years, and I think the game has just rewarded him. 26 caps at 19 is no mean feat. No matter what international country you're at, you have to do something good to get there, obviously. And he's just developing next level. If there was a way to just make him more clinical, I would love it, because the guy does need to find more goals. No matter what, though, we're going to give him the time to really develop into it. And hopefully one day James can repay this next-gen winning with an outpouring of goals. From Damon and everybody else here, I'll see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.